All right, welcome everyone, and happy Tuesday. I am King 5 meteorologist Adam Claibon.
And I'm meteorologist Leah Pezzetti.
So we're in now day 2 of our first alert mode. The heat probably going to be at its peak here for today for many spots. There might be another pretty warm day again tomorrow, depending on which model you believe. There has been some differing information on that, but we're pretty sure that it's going to be pretty hot for many of us, again, heading into the day tomorrow, especially the closer you get to I-5 and around Puget Sound. So that's where we're going to have more advisories that will be in place. And also, too, we also have some that are going to expire here as we head into the night. So some of us are going to see some relief here as we head into the evening and more so into tomorrow morning.
But right now is where we're feeling some of the hottest temperatures. And even with that little bit of a cool down tomorrow, it will A, still be warm out, and B, we know a lot of people are going to be out and about tomorrow. That's part of the reason we've kept this first alert mode going through Wednesday, is because we know there's a World Cup match. There's going to be a lot of people out in Seattle in the sunshine at the field. Not saying Lumen, Seattle Stadium, at Seattle Stadium, and then also just on the streets, watch parties, you name it. So because so many people are going to be out and about, we want everybody to take those precautions and make sure they're staying safe in above average temperatures.
Yeah, a big match at Seattle Stadium, and then we also have the Mexico match too. That's going to be later on tomorrow evening, so I'm sure a lot of people coming to Seattle for watch parties for that are either just going to be in and about their homes, so it's still going to be pretty warm out there. So let's go ahead and recap what our first alert mode is for us. We are right now in first alert here through more of Wednesday. We're going to see that skies, like you're noticing right there, will continue to stay more so, partly to, I would say, maybe mostly cloudy, but when we're talking about mostly cloudy skies, it's more like this, where we're noticing with the clouds still thin enough that we're seeing a lot of this streaming through the cloud coverage. Pretty thin for us still here across a lot of parts here into western Washington. Let's see, another spot right here, Seattle Stadium, looking like it is very clear for us as we have now made our way into more of this Tuesday afternoon. We'll continue to see skies staying more so on the clear side as we head on into the evening. Although, yes, some of those clouds will continue to find their way through here. We do anticipate that through that time, we will not have to worry about any rain quite yet. But once we head on into the day for tomorrow, we are going to see that conditions should be just a bit more on the cloudy and the wet side. Now, what we're going to see is, as we go throughout this day, heading into, I would say, probably Thursday and Friday, more rain. Big changes on the way as we head on into that point. Here we are right here. You can see first alert mode for us here through Wednesday with near record high temperatures. Now, we're going to talk about those records here in just a second. We do have some pretty warm nights still in place and an elevated chance of some fire danger here, which is going to be around for us as well.
So as we take a look at today, the forecast is into the 80s. Some spots could tap 90 degrees. Best chance for 90s is going to be down to the south, but overall we're going to see highs in the 80s. As far as records are concerned, most spots will not break records. Bellingham actually has the best shot. Bellingham's record is relatively low compared to everybody else, which is normal. It is typically a little bit cooler up to there, up to the north. But the record for today in Bellingham is 82 degrees. Looks like we'll sit right around there today. So if we're going to break a record, Bellingham is going to be one of the better shots. And keep in mind, normal for this time of year in Bellingham is 69 degrees. So we are well above average up in Whatcom County. SeaTac and Olympia, both looking at those upper 80s. Records for today's date for those areas, 90s. So we don't expect to break records for those communities, but still 72 degrees is the seasonal norm this time of the year. So that is significantly warmer than normal for this time of the year. And that's part of the reason that we're so concerned, part of the reason that we are in first alert weather mode for today and into tomorrow as well. So we are going to take you now to a quick little sneak peek of the 7-day forecast moving forward. First alert will continue for one more day, and then we'll see a major pattern shift into the weekend, which is bringing back this thing called rain. It's been a while since we've seen it, I know. But it's a welcome sight right now after this hot, dry pattern. So that is something that we'll look forward to. But first, let's continue on talking about the heat today.
Yeah, the heat. And so there have been a lot of spots that have been fairly warm, even out this way towards more the south coast. I wanted to show you a few of these spots because it looks great outside, right? It's going to be a lot more comfortable out here. But these are going to be a few spots which right here along the coast, the immediate coastline, Westport, we're not under the advisory, but it's closer out here and over the Olympic Peninsula that we'll see that those advisories will end here for Westport. Around Paulsbo, we'll expect that to end here later on into the evening, including Bellingham yet again with some of those clouds that are across the area. Not though here around Tacoma. We're going to see skies continue to stay partly to mostly cloudy and a bit more of that heat to be in place for us, as well as up this way around Everett. Now, just north of Everett, we're expecting things to really become a bit more cool, and definitely we'll see those advisories in as we head on into the night. But let's talk about just the temperatures themselves. We just showed you where the records were for today. We showed you 82 up around Bellingham. This is where we sit right now at 80 degrees. We're at 87. They're at SEA out of the airport there, so a little under the record there, as well as down around Olympia. Record was at 96. We're only at 86 degrees. So clouds might be playing a little bit of a factor. We got 190-degree temperature on there, but we're not completely done with the heating quite yet here for today. So we're going to be more so on temperature watch, but Bellingham, I think, might have the best opportunity of maybe hitting one of those records here as we make our way into the evening. But the advisories, again, let's go ahead and talk about those. That's where we have some of those that are in place right now. It should be ending here later tonight for some.
Yeah, and so basically it's most places in Western Washington with the exception of our higher elevations and then also the immediate coast. Those have never been under this alert because thank you to that fresh breeze, especially along the coast, keeping things a little bit more comfortable there. But you can see as we head into the Olympic Peninsula, into Hood Canal, Kitsap Peninsula, all the way from north down to Central and South Sound are under this alert. For tonight, we're going to let that expire for the Olympic Peninsula and the Northwest Interior and our islands as well, Southwest Interior as well. Then it will continue on even longer for the spots through Wednesday is when it's going to expire for everybody else for that. So yeah, the more metro areas. There you go. Adam's drawing you a lovely circle. There's some live art for you right now.
So it's going to be pretty much that area right there. Even areas closer to Hood Canal. So it's not the entire Kitsap Peninsula that will remain in this heat advisory. We're expecting at that point that some of those will be allowed to expire. We're going to get some of that cooler air in, but eastern parts of the Kitsap Peninsula and also central parts too. So that will include those of us around Bremerton and then over towards Bainbridge Island and everywhere such as that. We're going to keep the heat in place. And then it does include many spots here around Puget Sound. And I would say more of the foothill communities too as you go along the Cascades, where we are expecting to keep a good amount of that heat in place as we head on into the evening. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be dealing with here for the next few days, because with this heat, it's been very warm. We got one more day with some of this higher heat that's going to be in place with us, and the numbers will pop up for you here pretty shortly. We're going to see those averages, which are in the lower 70s for us, really being exceeded by quite a bit. So we did it again today. You can see for tomorrow, we'll see that high of 87 degrees before we drop back much closer to that average of 72. Those numbers come down and we'll eventually find our way back into more of the 60s for Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And
that graphic was like me on a Monday morning.
Right,
It took its sweet time.
It took a while. But I mean, it does show you the drastic change that we're going to see in the pattern here coming up in just a few short days, and does give hope for those of us who are really dealing with the heat right now that it's not too much longer. We do have one more day, but it's going to be a pretty warm overnight tonight and into early Wednesday, and another pretty warm day here as we head into Wednesday afternoon before we start to see things change here as we go a little bit later on into the forecast period. So talking about tonight, let's go ahead and show you the lows here for this evening. We're expecting a lot of those numbers here to drop down well into the 60s and eventually into the 50s for many spots outside of more the, I would say, larger city areas, more your urban areas. We'll see a lot more of those 50s, or at least the mid-50s that will be in place for us. So 56 in Bellingham, 52 in Quileute, and around 56 as we make our way into the day. Into the morning for Shelton.
Something to note about those lows too, I believe SeaTac's low for this morning was 66 degrees. So that's a little bit warmer than what we just forecast for tomorrow morning. So oftentimes we talk about those lows when we have this really warm weather during the day, because that's your relief. That's your chance to open up windows for anyone who doesn't have access to AC or cool areas. Overnight lows are important because that's your opportunity to cool down. So when lows don't drop below 66 degrees, 66 at the coldest, staying in the upper 60s, low 70s for a good chunk of the evening, that is when we don't have that relief, which is so important on days like tomorrow. So these are our highs for tomorrow. It will be a little bit cooler for some spots. Other spots will be probably not even noticeably cooler. But the biggest drastic changes will be places like up in Whatcom and Skagit counties, where we have 70s and 80s expected. Island County looking at 70s for your Wednesday. Snohomish County, you're still staying on the warmer side, low to mid 80s expected, maybe a couple degrees of cooling from Tuesday to Wednesday, but you may not notice the difference. Taking you down to Kitsap and King counties, we're also going to hold on to the heat, especially around South King County, still looking at those mid to upper 80s. So it'll still be a warm one, and that's why that advisory lasts a little bit longer in these spots, is because we're holding on to the heat just a little longer. Down around South Sound, we're saying goodbye to the potential for widespread low 90s. We could still tap 90 degrees in some spots. Places like Puyallup, right on the cusp of 90 degrees. That's a place that could see a 90-degree reading, which would make it the official high for the day. But for the most part, it's going to be a tiny bit cooler down there. Same thing down I-5, mid-80s expected for your Wednesday. If you want to cool down, go to the coast. The coast has been getting the natural air conditioning thanks to that marine push, and we'll see that again on Wednesday. Low 60s expected for our immediate coastal communities, and then places like Hoquiam and Forks are going to see some significant cooling into tomorrow as well. So they'll tap into that natural air conditioning a little bit earlier. Hood Canal, tiny bit warmer into those mid to upper 80s.
Yeah, and so you talked about that natural air conditioning, and that's something we're going to see a lot more of later on into the week. And many of us, too, like to get out into at least the cooler water, but that's also a concern as well. We'll talk more about where the water temperatures are sitting right now for us, and also have a look ahead as what things might be looking like as we go later on into the week when we come back right after this.